Hello, my CFA friends. How are you, my friends? Well, I never get more excited about CFA than on results day. Even if I have something to do, I will cancel it so that I can stay close to my LinkedIn and my emails in order to receive your news. So, today we are going to look at everything. What happened? We will analyze the numbers. We will look at what we should be doing if we were successful and we're now moving towards level 2. But we will also equally look at what we should be doing if we were unsuccessful and we have to recede the level 1. We will look at example performance of both successful and unsuccessful candidates. We'll also look at a story of resilience of one of my candidates. So quite a lot happening today. Let's get started. So yesterday, the 8th of October, results came out for level 1, and apparently almost 25,000 people sat for this exam around the world. 44% passed, and I did some basic maths here. 10,972 people passed. So if you were one of those guys, give yourself a massive, massive pat on the shoulder, please. And also, of course, 56% did not pass, so majority did not pass, and that's 13,965 candidates. So please, if you did not pass the exam, remember you are not alone. Remember, this is a really, really tough exam. And also, I wanted to provide you with a little bit of a history lesson. So I went back 5 sittings all the way back to May of 2023. And you can actually see that by historical numbers, the pass rate for August 2024 was actually very, very healthy. It doesn't look that way. Yeah, it's less than 50%, but it is above the average. So as you can see here, May 2023, we had 39%, August 37%, November 35%. It was on a dangerous downward trajectory. And if you actually calculate the average here, you're getting 40.2%, which actually means that 44% was very, very healthy pass rate. But the point I'm trying to make here, I guess, is this is not your driving license test. If you are just joining this channel right now, you don't know who Martin Stoyanov is, you are maybe thinking about a CFA program and how difficult or easy it is, well, let me tell you this, it ain't easy. Okay, it's not your driving license theory test. Not suggesting that that's necessarily easy, but you see what I mean. Here you need to really develop analytical mind. You need to be tested across 10 topic areas. So not everyone can make it, but certainly everyone can try, and certainly everyone can be perseverant, resilient, and can put quality study hours. And this is what I want to teach you, how to study, not just what to study, but also how to study on this channel. Now, one of the most frequent questions I keep getting all the time, especially as we start drawing nearer and nearer to exam day, is should I be deferring my exam, Martin? Okay, so for example, the next sitting is in, let's say, in February 2025. I know there's one in November, but let's say somebody is already booking for February 2025 and then gets nervous and starts thinking, okay, maybe I should defer to May of 2025. Well, my answer has always been the same, and I am going to reiterate it here. And the answer is do not defer. It doesn't matter whether you're ready or not. Do not defer, because worst case scenario, you will fail, okay, but you will have seen the actual questions and you will have effectively done an extra mock exam, so to speak, which would have been as good as the real exam. You would have actually seen the real question. So really, there is no loss. Okay, maybe there's some monetary loss, of course. I mean, that's something that you can consider as well. But in terms of pride, don't worry about your pride. Don't worry about failing. Don't think of it as failing. Think of it as learning. Okay, when you make a mistake, when you fail in life, it's not a negative thing, my friends. It is your opportunity to get better, to get stronger at whatever you want to be doing. There's no such thing as a problem. It's a challenge, okay? There's no such thing as failure. It's an opportunity to improve. So you don't have to defer, okay? But even if you don't believe me, the statistics speak for themselves. So that's coming from the Institute. This is not my numbers. This is numbers that were provided by the CFA Institute. They're saying that first-time testers, this is in relation to the exam we've just had, August 2024. So if you were a first-time tester, if you had never sat the level 1 exam before, you had a 50% pass rate, which is still low, but better than 44%. But then look what happened to candidates who had one or more deferrals. Well, their pass rate dropped dramatically. I mean, it didn't drop from 50 to 40. It dropped dramatically to 29%. So I don't know what the reason is, but there's something with deferring that simply does not work. Do not defer. Get your hands dirty. Go deliver the goods. Leave pride at home. If you fail, so be it. You are learning. You are getting stronger. But go deliver the goods. Play the game. Be part of the action. Now, of course, this begs an important question. How do I study? How do I prepare for this beastly exam? And of course, level 2 is only more beastly and tougher than level 1. It's in fact my favorite level to teach because, in my opinion, it is the most technical level. But this how to prepare slide will generally apply across the board. Well, first of all, active learning beats passive learning. Remember, passive learning is reading books. Okay, you don't want to be reading books endlessly because ultimately the exam is not testing it on your ability to read books. It is testing it on multiple choice questions. So you guessed it, you have to be doing a lot of multiple choice questions. Now I know there is a little bit of writing at level 3. We're not looking at level 3 here. We're looking at level 1. They're standalone, multiple choice questions with 3 options. So you're gonna have to do a lot of those. That's active learning. Doing mock exams is active learning. So firstly, let's talk about how many hours you should be allocating. Well, the Institute does say on their own website that you should be allocating at least 300 study hours. In my 20-year teaching experience, I can tell you that that is a fair estimate for the average candidate. Now, if you're someone who's got economics or accounting background and you're telling me you only studied 100 hours and had no problem passing the exam, good for you. But I'm telling you, the average candidate will definitely benefit from having at least 300 study hours. So let's do some mathematics here. And I'm thinking, what is a reasonable number of study hours per week? Okay, so I'm assuming you're a busy professional, you're working at least 9 to 5, then you're probably commuting. Best case, you're home at 6 o'clock, then maybe, you also have to squeeze in a dinner and so on. So what is realistically possible during the week? I'm thinking, and I thought, okay, let's say half an hour for the sake of argument every day after work. Or remember, It can be more, but I'm just saying bare minimum half an hour. That's about 2.5 hours in the work week. And then I've got Saturday and Sunday. Let's say that I put another 5 hours on Saturday and another 5 hours on Sunday. So that's how I kind of came up with the number 12 hours a week. And so if you take 300 study hours and you divide it by 12 hours a week, you're actually going to get roughly 6 months. So you need basically physically at least 6 months to squeeze in those 300 hours. And remember, very, very important, you gotta be consistent, because if this week you were scheduled to do 12 hours, but you only did 6 hours, then next week you gotta do your 12 hours for next week, plus the accrued 6 hours of this week. Now that's 18 hours, and that becomes undoable. So it quickly spirals out of control. And that's why we also say, don't leave the heavy lifting until the last month, because you cannot cram for this exam. You cannot put in 300 hours in a short period of time. And certainly, even if you did manage to do that, you'd be really hurting yourself and probably won't be putting in quality hours. Now, in terms of active learning, I needed to do lots and lots of questions. I'd say thousands rather than hundreds. You've got plenty of questions out there. My question-based revision is also video tutorials where I'm going through key concepts and key computations. You can pick up that at a very, very, very cheap monthly price. You should be doing that right now along with whatever else you are doing. And also, you should be doing mock exams. Not 1, not 2, not 3. You should be doing all mock available exams, okay? Anything that's available to you, you should complete it. Now, in terms of how much you should be aiming to score, the Institute says 70% or more. I'm going to beef that up to 75% plus, because I like to aim high in life. And also because if you get nervous on the day or something rattles you, you get some sort of hurdle or cold feet, if you've aimed very high during your prep, then you can lower your performance on the day and still comfortably pass. So the message is clear. When you do these thousands and thousands of questions, you're not just going to do them randomly. You're going to set a clock. Just pick up a kitchen timer on Amazon, set that thing to whatever time allocation is appropriate for the batch of question you're doing. When it rings, and you score yourself, and you need to see that you've scored 75% or more. And if you haven't, you need to know exactly why you haven't, and you need to have a roadmap to improve your performance. And this is even more important when it comes to the mock exams. You have to be doing them under time conditions, and you have to be fully analyzing them. That means you're not just analyzing incorrect problems, you have to also analyze any lucky guesses. So you got it right, but for the wrong reason, you didn't utilize the correct thinking or the correct formula. Well, you have to fully analyze it, fully understand it. If you need to, you have to go back and reread the chapter and do related end of chapter questions. Now, let's talk about the successful candidates among you. If you passed level 1, you're obviously celebrating right now. It's a well-deserved celebration. You can take a little bit of rest, but soon enough, you will start thinking about level 2. So let's see. Level 2 can be taken in May, August, or November of 2025. So you got only 3 opportunities to sit level 2 next year. And also there is a requirement that we need to have at least 6 months between sittings. Now, that's not really relevant to you guys, but for example, if somebody passed their level 1 in February, they wouldn't be able to sit level 2 in May. Okay, so because we passed our level 1 in August of 2024, we have plenty of time to May or August of 2025. So another question that I'm getting all the time now, and please, let's just watch this video so I don't need to answer it individually another 100 times, is should I sit level 2 in May or August of 2024? You've just passed your level 1, you're thinking about level 2, should it be in May, should it be in August? Well, we just looked at this slide here and we realized we need to be putting 300 hours per level. It's very likely that you're definitely going to need 300 plus hours for level 2 because it's a more specialist level. You got things like pension accounting, employee compensation, a little bit more niche than the generic level 1. So you're definitely going to need the hours. We said we're going to need 6 months. Now, obviously, you've got December holiday period, Christmas, New Year. Before you know it, you are in January. So you seriously have to be thinking, are you going to be able to squeeze in the 300 hours? And here's the key word, comfortably, between whenever you actually seriously start studying and, let's say, the 20th of May. Be realistic, my friends, and be ruthless. If you think you won't be able to do it, then don't go for May. Go for August or maybe even November. Now, I would say for most people, I'd recommend August probably just because I like to work in a prophylactic way with abundance of caution. So I would not want to stress myself and squeeze in a lot of hard work in a short space of time. However, one issue with August is obviously it's holiday season. So if you live in a place like London, which is normally cloudy all year long, you might actually want to take holidays in August. So it's not nice to be studying and being quite nervous about exams when everybody else around you is having great time. Also, August does tend to be hot and sunny in most places. So just consider that when you are deciding whether you want to do the exam in August. Now, obviously, I know I'm talking to a global audience. So, if you live in a fantastic country which is hot all the time and you actually want some cold weather, this may not be applying to you, but just be aware that obviously temperatures can be very high in August, and that could kind of act as a little bit of a distractor. Now, what should I be doing if I failed the exam? So first of all, don't worry. This is a tough exam. A lot of people have to fail at least one level. But the important thing is not whether you failed or you passed, it's what you're gonna do about it. Okay? You're running a marathon, you hit a little stone, some sort of hurdle, you fell, you bruised your knee, stop crying about it, just get up and keep running. If you keep running forward, you will get to the finish line. So what is the path of least resistance here? Well, on the next slides, I'll show you example performance of successful candidate versus unsuccessful candidate. But essentially, if you failed the exam, obviously something brought you down. You will certainly have weak areas, knowledge gaps. You definitely need to restudy your knowledge gaps. Knowledge gaps are simply areas where you are simply not strong enough yet. Questions alone won't do it. You need to understand the material. If you're watching my videos, you have to rewatch those videos. Now, also, you will have strong areas. Don't be complacent. Please, please, please don't be complacent. You need to keep the fire going. You need to periodically recap your strong areas so they continue to be strong, hopefully. but obviously the priority will be on the weak areas. And if you're a recent candidate, you will definitely have to overweight question practice. So if I was recommending that a fresh new student to my course, you should be doing 50% 50% book reading and video watching, and 50% question practice. For you as a resit candidate, I'm going to say that you need to start with a much higher percentage in terms of question practice. So a lot more question practice, a lot less book reading. Again, the caveat to that is if you have identified a really weak area, you will still need to restudy that area, but we're going to really look in the next slides on the performance so you can really use that performance to analyze what you should be doing going forward. Let's now look at the performance of one of my high flyers. So she sent me this performance last night on LinkedIn. I'm really, really proud of her. She was above the 90th percentile. And first, I want to show you how you can read this table. And we've got the 10 topic areas. And the first thing I want to do is identify the heavy weights. So ethics up to 20%. FSA 14%, equity and fixed income 40%. And also, I would say portfolio management is on the high side, up to 12%. So there you go. You've got essentially these 5 areas. And I would say there's really no reason why you shouldn't be rock solid when it comes to these 5 areas. Now, here you can see the available points for each area. So were you above 70? Were you below 70 but above 50? Or were you below 50%? And you can see for the 5 highlighted areas, so ethics, she was above 70, then accounting also above 70, equity, fixed income, and portfolio management comfortably above 70 for all those areas, which sets a very solid foundation for a good outcome and good performance. In fact, I can't say anything negative about this candidate. You can see all other areas are comfortably above 70. Probably the only thing that she could note as an area where she could be a little bit cautious is here, quantitative methods. She was just shy of 70. So as she enters level 2, obviously quants at level 2 has linear regression, multiple linear regression, and time series. So she should be a little bit cautious. Perhaps she's not as passionate about quants as she is about some of the other areas. So she just has to keep an eye on that. But more importantly, I want to see the performance of a candidate who was not successful. And this is a real candidate also who sent me her results on LinkedIn last night. And the first thing I notice here is that there's a lot of variance in the performance of this candidate. And the first thing that becomes quite obvious here is that quants was very, very weak for this candidate, well below the 50% performance. So that is what I mean by an area that you have to restudy. Obviously, quants is a weak area for this candidate. She will have to assume that she is a brand new candidate to the level 1 program when it comes to quants. She would have to fully reread the quants book and, basically put all the legwork from the beginning as far as quants is concerned. I would probably argue that's probably also the case for economics and derivatives. Yeah, so they were well below 50%. There's no reason to assume that she has a lot of prior knowledge here. She should probably restudy those 3 areas, which is still better than having to restudy 10 areas. Now, on the flip side to that, we can see that oats was one of her strong areas, above 70%. So that's an example of an area where you should keep the fire going. You're already good in oats, but remember all those idiosyncrasies there about performance calculation. If you don't revisit this in the next 6 months, well, you're gonna probably forget it. So keep the fire going on notes. We don't want your oats performance to drop on the next exam, but we also don't need to waste a lot of time rereading books here. Maybe questions alone, or primarily questions, will suffice here. Fixed income, actually, surprisingly, she did quite well. Fixed income is a very difficult area. Surprisingly, she was bang on the 70th there. So keep the fire going on that. But you see, a big problem I can see is ethics. Ethics being 20%, you really can't afford to be below 70% there. Look at accounting. Again, that's pretty weak. And then I could probably see equity improve. Definitely, I want to see equity above 70. And also portfolio management, as I said, 12%. You really need to be pushing this upwards. So this candidate, of course, has a lot more work to do. The work needs to be done in a strategic way. So definitely identify the weaknesses, obvious weaknesses, quants, econ, derivatives, restudy them. Then obviously fixed income alternatives. You can be doing some questions. You can be doing some light recapping of the concepts. And everything else, really, you should be doing 50% reading, 50% questions. And here I wanted to share with you Devashri's stories of resilience. This was posted last night on LinkedIn, and I thought I would share it with my community. So Devashri says, I'm excited to share that I've successfully passed the CFA Level 1 exam. The road wasn't without its challenges. And notice here, very important, she doesn't use the word problems. Very, very important. She uses the word challenges. There's no such thing as problems in life, guys. Problems are in your mind. Everything is nothing but a challenge to help you improve. After my initial attempt in 2022, and notice here that she says, it wasn't the previous sitting. It was 2 years ago. And, some people would have given up, but Devashri didn't give up. So she tried in 2022, faced the setback, but it only strengthened my resolve. Really, really good. Use this challenges in order to become even more determined about what you want to achieve in life. Rather than giving up, I embraced the experience as a stepping stone, rededicated myself, and learned from my mistakes. Very, very key thing. Mistakes are your opportunities to get better, to get stronger, to improve. This achievement is a reminder that persistence, hard work, and resilience always pay off. Okay, so that's a success story, my friends. It doesn't matter. The actual result of the exam is not important. It's the attitude. This is the right attitude that Devashri is showing here. A heartfelt thank you to Martin Stoyanov, whose videos helped me a ton in this journey, and to everyone who supported me throughout. Now, onward to the next chapter of this exciting journey. Devashri, all I can say is I'm very, very proud of you. You have the perfect attitude towards life. This is how you should approach life. And I absolutely agree with you. Your hard work, your persistence, your resilience did pay off. Never give up, my friends, even if it takes you a couple of years to regroup, to get ready, you will get there. So get up and keep running. You will reach the finish line. In other news, my friends, I have now started uploading YouTube shorts on the channel. I think this is a good idea, but let me know what you think. Short nuggets of knowledge in under 60 seconds, which I think is ideal if you are just taking a quick break, cup of tea, coffee, or you're on the go, or you're just very, very busy and you want to keep the fire going. I would say that's probably also going to be useful to a level 3 candidate or even a charter holder who just wants a quick recap of some important concepts. So I'm strategically extracting various sections of the tuition course and turning them into YouTube Shorts. Let me know in the comments if you like this idea, if you're finding this useful. So the way to find the shorts is you go on my channel. Obviously, I'm here on a computer, but it's probably going to be on your mobile phone, and you then click shorts and you can see all the shorts that I have uploaded so far. Now, obviously, if you are finding this idea useful, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to upload more shorts. So do let me know what you think of these shorts. So next steps after this, if you are new to the channel, please watch all my YouTube videos to prepare and go get my question-based revision at stoyanov.co.uk. This also does support me, guys. Don't forget, I need your support in order to do this. If you passed, then book me for 1 hour on Zoom to strategize your next steps towards level 2 or to get some level 2 tuition. I can give you a lot of tips and tricks about level 2. I am actually a level 2 specialist, more than I am a level 1 specialist, in fact. Now, if you failed, also book me for an exam autopsy on Zoom. We will look at your results, I will analyze them, and I will tell you exactly what I think you should be doing and what you should not be doing. So email me, DM me on LinkedIn if you're interested in any of that. That's all I wanted to say in this session. I hope you found it useful, my friends, and I shall be seeing you again. Until then, have a great day.